Amish mindset. Hi guys, this is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? I'm hanging in. I want to thank people for sharing and liking and subscribing to my channel. I want to thank everybody who has donated. It really means a lot to me, and I want to thank you. I'm going to get a call tomorrow from my attorney about the house, so that I get news on when I'm closing and what is my next steps. Again, I never sold a house before. I inherited this one, so yeah. It's very humid and my hair is doing some Einsteinian stuff, so I'm taming it right now. Oh, I know, I look like craziness, right? If you get anything from my work, a connect the dot, a new book to read, an author that you want to explore, please consider supporting my work. It's how I'm able to keep the lights on, the electric bill going, the internet, and in the unforeseeable future, my moving fund. Because I can't do anything because I'm not in abundance yet. I'm still in limbo. I have zero. I basically won't be able to do anything until after my house closes and I received the checks and they put it in the bank, and then I have to wait for the bank to clear those checks. So that's going to take time, and I'm going to be in limbo because I can't stay in this house. So I am just asking if anybody could, in the in-between, help me out. That'd be really awesome. I need to get a storage facility, a rental truck. I got to do the moving myself, at least, you know, down the block to a storage facility. I have to pay for a hotel. You know, I have some nice neighbors, but with the 2 cats and other animals in houses, I don't want to freak the cats out. So I'm very limited on what I'm able to do and where I'm able to stay. So at the moment, anything helps. And it's much appreciated. And I want to thank those who are thinking of me in that way. I haven't done the law of one in a long time because it requires a lot. Even though I already read this and I'm rereading it, but I'm rereading it with fresh new eyeballs. Whoa. And I haven't put my books completely away. They're not on my bookshelves anymore, but they're in bags, and I cut out the litter box containers where you have the litter. I put some books in those so they're protected. Very interesting. So this is my insights. So I can't read it. I don't have permission. Of the Law of One, Book 3. This is July 1st, 1981, this session. There's a lot of different topics. They're going to come in and out, but I picked the ones that were most interesting to the here and the now. Mind you. In the time of 1981, the Arch of the Covenant, the Ark of the Covenant, is still in existence. So they didn't disclose the location as it would interfere in our free will in locating it. I can only imagine why they don't want to disclose the location of the Ark of the Covenant. My co-host is very active this evening. I had the red dot out for them to play with. I thought I tired this little 17-year-old out, but no, she's wreaking havoc around the house. So sorry. Getting back to the Ark of the Covenant, rumor has it, rumors, just curiosity killed my cat a couple of years ago, and I asked an ex of mine who happened to be in one of those secret society kind of things. I won't disclose so he doesn't get in trouble. Where the possibility of the Ark of the Covenant could be. And Ethiopia came up in that conversation. Now, let's sink this in today. I scrolling through Facebook, and I have a lot of different pages and things. And what would you know? The original Bible, without the books of Enoch and others taken out. It's a completed Bible. Didn't even know that there was a completed Bible. I thought there were scrolls that were tucked away and hidden for later usage for us to find. So there might be a little keynote to what's going on in Africa, in Ethiopia in general. If they have that original Bible, if that is real, then I could argue that that information I received is correct, that the Ark is there. Speculation. It wouldn't make too much of a difference at this juncture because God won. The positive polarity won this realm. We'll get into that later on. But I found that very interesting. There's a lot of talks about the arcs, not the Ark of a Covenant, but the arcs in general, the ships and things that are happening around different places and ley lines in the world today. A lot of conversations, in fact, are coming up. Something is under my chair, and I don't know what it is. And it's not food because, no, I clean. Just under my chair, playing with wires. I find it very interesting that that arc, whatever it is, could be a gateway, a portal, or a key in the right vibration and vibratory octave, could be setting off the other arcs. It's just something to think about. This next part I found very, very, very interesting. So we're noticing right now there's a lot of changes on Earth. There's a lot of earthquakes. We are seeing some of what the keys of Enoch are talking about in a specific key. I might just do a video on that alone. A possibility. I'm sorry. My handwriting sucks sometimes. Possibility to what others may conclude climate change. And again, it's speculative, but it's an interesting take on what is happening, planetary, plane of existence, density and vibration. Here she comes. The monster. Mizumi's over here. The questioner is talking about creative energies and how they don't understand heat, that it is generated as Earth moves through third and fourth density. So right now, whatever plane of existence you are perceiving, the plane of existence, the flat Earth, the globe Earth, the toroidal Earth, whatever it is that we are on and inhabiting at this current time, we are going through a photonic belt outside of the firmament, in my opinion. And we're shifting densities. We're on the upper octaves of 3 in the lower octaves of 4, sub 4. We're not in a completion of any one density just yet. We're in between. We're vibrating in between 2 densities. That's why there's a lot of upheaval. Is it a disharmony between the octaves of vibration or physical heating within the planet? This disharmony in humans coming out of us is tears, anger. There are blockages that come to us in the physical vehicle. The disharmony to the physical vehicle comes in the form of cancer and disease. So Ra here is trying to help the questioner understand that, like, there is a heating to the planet that is not far off. It's in a different type of sense. And this is back in 1981, by the way. So things did heat up between then and now. But as a human vibratory complex, the way our disharmony is happening and us vibrating and causing changes to our environment, physical environment, is that it's coming out in anger and frustration and fear. And that's creating the disease, and that's creating the cancers in our body. That in essence, we're doing it ourselves. But if we do have a whole society angry and fearful and frustrated, what happens? And Ross says, on the greater scale, on planetary level, the purpose of the Earth is to maintain its orientation with other cosmic influences. Or as we would say in the Norse confunden, the other planes. Ross states that the interior of our sphere is hot in your physical terms. It's uncontrolled growth to uncontrolled heat, which becomes expansive consequences. So we're seeing that right now. I watch Ryan Hall, y'all. He's the weather guy on YouTube. He does a lot for the weather community, and people should be taking note of those things, storm chasers and stuff. You never know when things are going to happen. And he was talking about a very rare event that has ever happened before is a La Nina, and it's a specific term. I don't recall what it is, but it's like ×3. Ooh, Thor. So we have a lot going on. A lot of people in different countries are seeing things they've never seen before. A lot of tornadoes are happening in places that never ever see tornadoes. Tornadoes really just happen in the United States. Not to say they don't happen in other places, but it's commentary here because of the jet streams that come from Canada and Mexico, and how everything comes in and it hits in the middle plains. But other places are seeing tornadoes that have never seen tornadoes before. People are seeing flooding in places that never seen flooding before. The Atlantic Ocean, by the way, is way warmer than it usually is. The Atlantic is cold. Even in summer, it's still cold. Not as cold, but usually the Pacific Ocean is a lot warmer than the Atlantic. And it's very interesting how the ocean waters are a bit heated and yeah, summer's not over yet. I get it. But it's way warmer than normal. So something's happening in and around our climate, in and around the planet. And it's a lot more than just, I mean, them saying that we're carbon and they want us dead, because that's the goal here. But it's the photonic belt. We're moving in the bubble space, time-space continuum here, in third density. Guy is pissed. She wants to ascend, so shit's happening. Which then brings us, that was a mosquito, by the way. I'm going to kill it. To a topic that I was shocked to reread, because I kind of didn't give credence to Agartha. But we talk about inner Earth and what the shape of inner Earth is, but it happens to be different in each density. So people have to start understanding that each density is a different vision of perception. Ra makes the claim that the inner Earth inside is a honeycomb shape and a molten core. At one time, we lived in the honeycomb. At present, we aren't. Now, this brings something up that hit me when I was doing these notes yesterday. And I got my download. The reason why I feel that I resonate with the Viking culture so much is because my star family, way back in the day, came down to Earth, and when Atlantis, they went inside. They went to Asgard, because there's Shambhalta and Asgard. And I believe that's where I was in one of my lives, in Earth. Even though I'm from up there, I went in there. Plausible. But I find this very interesting. He doesn't go into specifics with that. But he does breach into this. The topic of inner Earth comes up again in some of the civilizations inside. He doesn't name them. Ross states some of those civilizations do come up. They materialize in third density. Bigfoot might be one of them. Bases also exist in abandoned cities that are both positive and negative entities. Chernobyl, maybe one. There are ghost cities all over the United States. There's places where, oh, oops, something happened, everybody get out. Mining towns especially, but there are ghost cities and places where things have been abandoned, and there are people that do TikToks on that. So I'm no, thank you. You're not eating my paper. She's like a dog. She'll eat my paper. So yeah, it's plausible, and yes, there are both positive and negative polarities that exist down in inner Earth. Just like there's positive and negative upstairs in and around us. It's our free will to choose what polarity we will be in. So Ross says these bases help them materialize, helps them materialize. And they have devices for communication equipment with 3D entities. Also, they're used for resting places, also smart crafts. He states the Confederation speak through these devices, they're used at the right vibratory level. Ross states they're on call as the Confederation on our planet, which is of the positive orientation. So cave systems, domes. Is there something else they're not telling us? A lot of people speculate if Ra's information is plausible sometimes. Because we know that there are Draco and Gray Alien, Orion, that's what he calls the Orion group, bases under the sea, on land. We also know that there are positive bases. One of them is Mount Shasta, where the Telosi hang out in another density. Are they using devices? Very plausible. Are they negative, causing some of these climate issues? So that we are being held from being ascended, harvested, graduated, whatever you want to call it. It's very plausible. Is these bases used by the social memory complexes of each polarization? So Ra would be of the positive orientation, and the Orion group could use their social memory complexes, which we'll get in later. Of the negative group, are they channeling people who are doing evil from these bases? And I only named, maybe Denver Airport, China Lake. Who knows? There might be just plain out towns across America that they're all using in different capacities we're not aware of. Because obviously we cannot see fourth density just yet. We get glimpses of fourth density. We don't get the whole smackdown just yet. So I thought that was very interesting point of view from the Law of One. And again, this was channeled in 1981. As we are seeing now, those of you who are following certain people and movements and certain information, we are now understanding the underground system that a lot of these things use. We are now understanding why there has to be floods, fires, and destruction on our plane is to take a lot of these negative polarity bases out. So Rob wasn't so far-fetched in making this assumption that these places were abandoned or they were already created and now they were used for the negative and the positive, but that they're being taken out right now. And there's a lot of evidence of that. There's a lot of military operations happening right now around the planet, taking these bases out from the negative orientation, polarized entities who've been hijacking us for a very long time. And who knows when that's going to stop. So I just thought that's, again, I'm trying to bring the law of one in the here and now, because this is the here and the now. This was written 41 years ago. 42 almost. So this is a long time ago. Well, I'm not that old. And if we take the idea that it's a honeycomb, what does a honeycomb look like? There's compartments and there's layers and there's tunnels in the honeycomb. Patty Broussard has a schematic that she shows of what it looks like in the honeycomb scenario. Very interesting. Very, very highly interesting. Because it shows a part up here and a part down here, and one's Asgard, one's Shimbalta. And even on the Travel Channel, Discovery Channel, one of those, his name escapes me. I think his name is Josh. He goes and tries to find the entrance to Shambhala. The reason why I don't think he was successful, he found interesting things, was because it's not in our density. Unless they invite you or you have the right vibratory rate in your body to physically enter these places, some people disappear and never come back. Because they're vibrating higher. So they're accepted with these entities. Hey, you want to hang out? Cool. Yeah. I mean, but we're all going to be there very soon. I'm hoping. Amish mindset, love and unconditional love and compassion will get us there. But society's not there just yet. So we go from that pretty interesting inner earth fun to pendulums. This is why the law of one is not easy to read, because it's jumped all over the place. So the way they're talking about this is the pendulum. So they're using the body in the seventh chakra system. And when you put a pendulum over a person, they're talking about the direction. So I'm going to read it, but just understand it's not where you put it on and say yes and no. It's not talking about that. Not the way I use pendulums. The questioner is curious on directions in circular motion in which it swings when finding energy centers. So in our chakra system, I hope that was picked up on the recording. That was an unregular boom by Thor, Rod's a god. That sounded like a super energy weapon besides thunder. Documenting it just in case. Anywho, so we have the 7 chakra systems. And when you lay down, the motion will show if there is a blockage or an over, like, speed up too fast, overstimulated chakra system. It needs to be in balance. It needs to come to neutrality and work all together. So a weak back and forth motion may be a partial blockage. So if I were to put a pendulum laying down over my third eye and if it's moving slowly, there's a blockage there. A strong back and forth, reverse of a blockage. So if it's going like this, there may be overstimulation in the chakra center. They don't touch about when it's rolling around, but I think the circular motion means that it's in balance depending on the speed. I think Reiki, people who do Reiki might know about this. So if you are one of those people, please comment in the box below. I didn't really go into the, even though I have Reiki, the Reiki books, Reiki. I tried studying that, and then a lot of shit happened in my life that I had to stop. I hope to pick it back up. I don't know if I would be a healer in that way, but I find Reiki really interesting and very useful. Co-host is back. The next session, session 61, July 1981. I only wrote about one thing here. This I find very intriguing. Interesting note. The questioner asks Ra about the frontal lobes of the brain. And Ra speaks on the concept that the lobes are of a greater use in fourth density. The frontal lobes help connect to joy, love, and infinite intelligence, healing, learning, and all the will aid us in the fourth density. Now, that's not to say that they're not helping us now and they don't serve a purpose, but why the fronts? Telepathy? I don't know. But I thought that was really interesting that this question was brought up and the frontal lobes of our brain. I mean, all in totality, our brain, all of it is used, in my opinion. I don't think there's not one portion, even though they say like we only use 10% of our brains. I say bullshit. Not to the capacity where our brains can be used, absolutely. But I think as we think about it, when we go up in density, more of our brain is activated, more of the usage is activated. We're only using what we are capable of using in this density for a reason, because that's what we need to survive. But when we move up, more and more, I think, of our lobes will be activated in totality. Not that they're not active now, they're not in its official capacity. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. But I would hope to say that, like, there's no junk DNA. There's no such thing. It's just they're not understanding, or they're just trying to dumb us down, and they're manipulating our genetics. Anunnaki. Session 62, July 13th, 1981. The questioner brings up the law of squares, or doubling. When it comes to the Orion group, as they, too, are trying to harvest on the negative path, as most of us want positive harvest, hence why they attack those positive light sources. And Ross says this is correct. It's still happening. Still happening. I was having a conversation with a really good friend the other day about this. She's in a spiritual conflict. She's religious, but she knows she's spiritual because she knows she's an empath and she has abilities like I do. But she can't get out of the book paradigm. And I tried explaining it to her. She's like, why does all this stuff keep happening? Why do I feel so all the time? I said, because they're trying to dim your light. As a child, I was born with abilities. I could see things that a lot of people couldn't. That I'm not putting myself on a podium. I am not. I claim what I am to stand in my sovereignty, my authenticity, and my authority. Because they've been trying to dim my light since I was a little kid. I almost took my life several times across the span of time in my essence. I've tried to do stupid shit. I've done stupid shit. All under their influence. They tried to collapse me many, many times because I'm a light being. I tried explaining that to her. We're all of source, and there's a positive and the negative polarity. There's the extremes, and then there's everything that swings in between if we read the Hermetic principles. The negative also harvests to go up density. They're having their experience. They're going up to the negative fourth density. Many of us are going to the fourth positive density. Well, what did they do? What is the negative polarity? They need to enslave and take over the light. And they want more forces because here they have a pecking order. So they have their pendar, they have their head, and then it collapses down in a pyramid system where the bottom are the third density, fourth, and fifth. Their whole system is different from ours, the light. Okay, and again, you are still a creator if you're in the negative density and the negative polarity. You're still a creator. You're still going to go back to source. So you're playing a role here just as much as we're playing a role here. We can't have both. This cat is doing cat things. They don't want both. They want just them. They want this to be a negative planet. They want this to be a negative density. They want to take over and control. But guess what? Ha! Joke's on you. The light won this time. Sorry, positive polarity planet is happening. We're staying here. You guys are going outside somewhere else. Have fun. Adios. That's not to say that there isn't duality up in the other densities. There is, but it's separated. Where here, in Satan's playground, we have both polarities inhabiting each other all in one. So we're not having a separation, even though they do meet in space, whatever that space inhabits. We still have negative entities and positive entities still intermingling out in the other densities, but we're usually separated. We know of them. Here we're living with them. This is where the problem comes in. They have a bigger influence into dimming the light of the light workers through their thought forms, because their little minions inhabit here. But Ra is saying, if you hold the love and light in your heart space, in your chakras, and you are balanced, and you are doing for others and being compassionate, they can't really bother you or influence you. Yeah, they can do some dimming. I've had it my whole life. And each time my angelic team, my spirit guides and everybody, they do come in and clear them out, but it takes some time. This is my whole life. And a lot of you have the same thing happen. You have things and events that occur in your life that are uncontrollable to you, which they influence. Some of it is a test from source. Others is them fucking around with you, playing with your emotions, making you angry, making you frustrated, making you bowl up on the floor and not wanting to live. That's real. You're not crazy. And they do it through a lot of different means. They're deceiving. This is Satan's playground. This is negative polarity. This is hell. How do we rise out of hell? We ascend. How do we ascend? Amish mindset. We, not me. Takes all of us. If all of us in totality can affect the climate and our bodies individually with fear, anger, and frustration that builds up inside of us, and we're not transmuted it to the positive, and that collectively makes Earth go bananas, what do you think happens when we switch it up and make it love, light, compassion, aiding and helping each other? So the negative social memory complex works in a pecking order. Very few are fifth, fourth, then third. The fifth density negative wants the removal of light, which they have tried, but hard going through other densities. Fifth density negative beings are light on their feet, light beings. So they appear to us like they're the angelics, they're the light beings. That's where your discernment is being tested right now in society. This is where discernment, when people like talk about discernment in some movements, and we're talking about, well, you got to listen to what they're saying. If it's not resonating with you, leave it, or don't watch that person anymore. Why are they telling you to do that? Because you need to learn discernment, because people like me who feel energy and suck energy in from others and absorb it know someone's negative intentions. Does that mean they're a negative being? No, some people are just bad people. They're still of the light, but they got some learning to do. But there are negative beings placed in positions to test you and to teach you discernment. Raw does state, quote, the drop in subjective temperature is a sign of a presence of negative or non-positive or draining entity. So not necessarily when temperature drops, are you feeling a negative entity? That could just be spirit or a lost soul. That's not negative or positive. They're just lost. But subjective temperature drops. Then you need to do your shielding. You need to spray sage. You need to do what you need to do to protect your body. Ask Archangel Michael. Should be doing this all the time anyway. The fourth density negative attacks the positive third density channel. The distortions toward aggrandizement of self, whether it be one of division, political, fiscal, or social. So, if you think you have a thought form in your arena, your field, and you're trying to channel, or you're getting a download, or you're getting something, and it's self-centered, and it's about greed, political stuff, or social, ground your energy, clear your energy, and take a breather. That could also be that a negative entity is around you. Anything that serves the self, not the others. Which gives me the opportunity to speak on this. We're supposed to be moving away from greed, from the 7 deadly sins, might you say, into healthier options and healthier things. For those that do have platforms, that do have products of the natural sort, we are expected not to watch television because that's programming. Tell a lie vision. Okay? But what are you doing on your podcasts and stuff? And I'm here not judging. I'm just trying to say, you got to switch, understand your viewer. One. Understand the MSN tactics. What we grew up with. It's, you have the program, and then you have a commercial, which is another lie, which is usually a pharmaceutical or, sponsored by corporation, followed by back to the program. And here we have, hi. Oh, we're going to break to commercial. Corporation, pharmaceutical, food poisoning. Oh, back to our sponsor, corporation, pharmaceutical, bullshit. Oh, Johnny, you didn't do that to me. Goodness sakes. Until next time, folks, pharmaceutical corporation sponsored by. We all grew up with this programming, indoctrination. Maybe it's time, because there are truthers, there are podcasters who talk about getting complaints about people complaining about product and stuff. Mind you, I think there's a better way of, you're telling us not to watch television, but you're going and doing off of what the MSN was doing. maybe tweaking your show and what you're presenting as your sponsor. Again, corporation, I'm not talking about capitalism. Again, we have to understand the negative entities want greed. And not that they're not helping people. They want people to live because they want people. And you see, my lights went on a little brighter. So there's something right on what I'm saying. See it? That's confirmation. Twist it around. We know you need, this is how you make your living. I understand both components to it. But the negative entities are using the MSN tactic of pitching a product, a little information, back to our sponsor, pitching a product, back to our show, pitching the product, back to the show. And that's the programming. And I think that's what people are picking up on, and they don't know how to verbalize it and get it out. Maybe, and not to say that you should sell shirts and products. No one's saying not to. I just think in the manner in which it is done needs to change or be rethought about. That's all. Because I'm noticing this more and more, that there is a very big hold, and I'm using the law of one right now to give an idea that maybe we need to rethink on how we are going to sell products to people to help them. But at the same time, knowing your audience is that a lot of people at this moment in time, myself included, there's no way we can afford any of this. Now, if we take a look at the MSN and then take about like breakdown of society, who have they always attacked the most? The people who have nothing, that can never afford to get up. Why? Because that's where they want them. So the people who cannot afford these miracle products that are being pitched by good people, by the way, probably the best products in the world, but the people who really need them the most are the ones who can never obtain them. Now, they still feel on a lower scale. That's a lack for them. Here. So they're here on the bottom of the scale, listening to their favorite people trying to get high vibes. But they're now doing the same thing that MSN does, is giving a program. No matter what the content it is, it doesn't matter. This is how we were programmed. And then here we have is the class divisions. People who cannot afford these things will never be able to afford these things because it's not accessible to them. Now we have to hear about everybody's success stories and how everybody feels great, but the ones that have the abundance and the ones that have the money to buy them, that is, again, making people drop their vibration and get upset and angry. Now we're creating an opportunity for these negative entities to hoist the lower people who feel like, oh, we are happy for everybody who feels great, but we're never ever going to feel great because we can never afford these products. And now they're going to be susceptible to attack. Something to consider, people. If anybody of the podcasters or anybody important watching me, I don't think you need to compromise and not have products on your shows. I just think you need to rethink on the delivery of them. I think there needs to be a compromise somewhere where we're not lowering people who can never obtain these things. And guess what? Yeah, we're going to talk about med beds and we're going to talk about all these great things. But guess what? That's not here in the now right now, is it? And even when it comes out, we're not, those people aren't going to be the first ones to receive that healing that they really need. I'm not the first one in line, and I need a hell of a lot of work. Nor do I want to be the first person. I just want my teeth fixed, by the way, to talk better. But otherwise, I'm just saying we need to start putting that into consideration that we are already programmed here, most of us, for a large majority of our lives. Now we have a system of we're still living in that there are the lower class, the middle class, and the upper class. And it's always the people who can afford that feel great and feel better, and it's wonderful. And the people who are here who are trying to hang on to hope are getting angry. They're just not able to verbalize why. And then the really good people that are just trying to, give the information out, they feel attacked and now they're being defensive. Well, no, we're trying to support. I get that. But think about the delivery, think about your target audience. If we're really going to talk about marketing and talk about how you can become successful, know your audience. Know why people are watching your show. Then think about how you're going to deliver certain products and things, understanding your audience, and then understanding the programming that everybody tells you not to do, but you're doing it in another way. Just putting that suggestion out there, because I get it on both sides. And right now, we cannot afford at all. We, as a upcoming social memory complex of a positive polarity with the ascension, with all the energies happening, we are being made to purge right now things that no longer serve us. Most of us are learning to discern on multiple levels, on multiple planes of existence, discern information, go within your heart, and everybody's perception is different. Everybody's at a different point on the elevator. But no matter what, where you are and what floor you are, we all matter. You matter as on the first floor to the 20th floor, and the 20th floor are in the same sense. We're all in this ride together, and we all need to go together. And it's up to the people up here that have more of the wisdom and the consciousness to shed the light, be patient, and help other people out. Learn so they can elevate. So that we can have the Christ consciousness. So that we can go to the positive polarity, stay here on Gaia, Terra, Earth, toroidal donut field of love. So that we can rebuild this place and make it the Eden that it was supposed to be, instead of this wasteland. We can't do that if we're all not on the same elevator. Because the negative polarity people, they're on the other elevator, trying to get people on this elevator to cross over to this elevator and start the service to self movement. And we are clearly seeing that divide happening right now in society. We're seeing people that refuse to see the light, refuse to wake up. I'm still being called crazy. I still take up space in a lot of people's heads at my old job. My name is still mentioned. No wonder why I'm itchy all the time, because my name is still inhabiting people's minds because they think I'm crazy. They're on the negative path. That's what they signed up for. They signed up not to wake up. And then there's a lot of people in between that are being swayed and influenced from the negative Orion group to the positive light beings that are here trying to get them onto the side. We have a lot of in between the elevators. We're in between two buildings right now. If you watch Dolores Cannon, her and Julia talk about this split. I don't think it's a physical split. I just think that it's both positive and negative, splitting off from each other. And that's so we can usher in the new density of fourth. But there's a lot of people in the in-between right now, socially, that are on the fence. They don't know what goes on. And we need everybody to come together and figure it out without making people feel, the people who are here in desperation for a change. Me, I'm in that boat. 9-10 months. I didn't even realize October 1st is a year I lost my job. I'm still like not, my time frame is now off completely. I lost my job almost a year ago. And almost a year eating once a day, scraping off the bottom of the barrel, going through my savings, racking up credit card charges, on the floor hysterically crying, wanting to die because I don't know what to do. I don't have anybody to help me. I'm not doing anything stupid. I have my mission and I know what I'm doing, but that feeling is still there. It's still is created, and they have been attacking me. And I've said it multiple times. I've been attacked. And you could see on certain shows that people are getting attacked mid-show because they want to dim our light. So know that you're not alone. And I know I'm off topic with the raw. I'm going to go back. But this needs to be addressed. No one's saying you can't do things on your shows. And it's not just one community. It's a lot of different communities. And a lot of different people are feeling like that. We already in a war. Why aren't any Amish mindset? It takes a village. So why if I'm reaching out to one of my villages, no one's helping me? Why was I in chat rooms for 10 months and no one's willing to help me? And it's not about financial. It's about, oh, do you have a job? Oh, what are you good at, Allison? Let's talk about this. Let's figure it out. How could we get you from this situation to a better situation? Help comes in many forms, and abundance comes in many forms. It doesn't come just financially. Prosperity is not just unicorns and rainbows, but it's feeling it. It's knowing it about it. And everybody's level of abundance is different, and everybody's level of understanding prosperity is different. Some people are happy with nothing. Some people need a little bit more. I just need to be content. I don't need a high-paying job. I just need a job that's going to support me, that I can give an equal give and take in energy. I give you this energy, I get this energy, I can have my internet on, I can put the gas on, I can wash my clothes, I can eat. I could buy groceries and not beg for them. That's all. Not hard. But you know what? The greed mindset or the ego comes in when you make it about you. Yes, you want to help other people, but you're only helping a target amount and not all. So just think about it. Alternatives. People are suffering a lot more than you think. So just something to put out there. It's not a judgment on anybody. I just noticed this. It's the MSN. It's what they have done to society. And now it's being repeated in what we want to be moving into and shifting into a better society. But we're taking the old shit with us unknowingly, coming in and dropping the same sequence of programming to people. We're not here to program. We're here to learn, to grow, to gain knowledge together. Lastly, I had to quote this entire thing because there's no way I can eloquently put this in my own words. Ra, quote, "You must see the earth, as you call it, as being 7 earths. There is red, orange, yellow. And there will soon be a completed green color vibratory locus for 4th density entities, which they will call Earth." We're moving into the green ray. During the 4th density experience, due to the lack of development of 4th density entities, the 3rd density planetary sphere is not useful for habitation, since the early 4th density entity will not know precisely how to maintain the illusion that 4th density cannot be seen or determined from any instrumentation available to any 3rd density. Thus, in 4th density, the red, orange, and green energy nexi of our planet will be activated, while yellow is potentiated along with blue and indigo. End quote. Ra is on the alignment of Dolores Cannon, that there is going to be a semi sort of ending 3rd Earth, moving into a new Earth. That's what I'm taking from there. And we're not all inhabiting 4th density mindset right now. We're slowly shifting. That's why I asked the whole army upstairs, why haven't we moved up yet physically? And that's because we're not ready yet. Many of us are consciously on 4th, 5th, and 6th. Many, but not all of us. And we need to go all. So some of us are on the top floor waiting for the people on the 1st floor to come elevate to us. We're not there yet. And in enough, if we go back to the beginning of like the first book, and we're talking about 3rd density, and we're talking about the levels of densities, we all have things to learn. So 3rd is self-identification. And then the identity of other selves, acknowledging that you have other selves, which is everybody watching. It's other people, because you're a fractal of the all, you're fractal of each other. Once you understand that, and you learn all your 3rd density lessons, you move into 4th density lessons, which a lot of us that are in the struggle right now, that are being attacked by the Orion group, are going through our 4th density lessons already. In 3rd density, physical, not the mental, not the spiritual, the physical plane. Some of us have to close out the karma or release it, let it go in order to graduate. Ra talks about there's a percentage. So we hear other podcasters talk about percentages. We need this 80% in order to make moves. This is what the AI tells us, right? But it's no different from when Ross says that you need like 5% in order to be of the positive polarity and move up on the positive pathway, where there's like 5% that go to the negative. But the negative know that, so they're trying to grab more people to harvest up to the negative polarity. It is a spiritual war, but it's also a physical war. We're being affected by negative entities, and our vibrations are lower because the content that we watch lowers us up because we have negative entities trying to influence us. We need to keep a lot of balance happening right now. We need to keep our chakras clear and balanced. We need to make sure that we are consuming as much positive content a day. And also knowing, again, this is a part of the Amish mindset. Sharing your abundance, even if it's a click, if it's a like, if it's giving what you have excess of, extra of, to make another person stand up on their feet and move. Whether it be me giving a china set away to a nice family who was eating off of napkins, or giving clothes to people that need clothing. That's what I'm abundant in at this moment in time. What could you do? You know what also pops up into my mind? There are people that have a little library in front of their mailbox. So like to the side or to the back where it's not in any illegal place on your property. I don't know. But they have like people that drop off books. And then people can borrow the books or replace the books with the book that they want to read or take home. That's a really good idea. That's helping people gain knowledge, whether it's just a fiction or, escape from life's problems. Reading books are amazing. And yes, people have tablets and I like a physical book. That's just me. But that's another way of helping people. What can you do to help your community, wherever it is, online, at home? What is it that you can do once a day to help other people? And we got to do this together. We got to stop making people feel bad because they can't afford certain products. And not to say that they hate the products. They would want to take the products if it was affordable for them. But many people are in dire straits right now. Just rethink how you're delivering your products and if you're doing it by programming. Revisit how you're talking and structure your programming around it. Maybe do a separate show if you want to do testimonials and you want to do that, or a section out a block of time where people can make a free will decision to watch it or not. And then the rest of your show is the high vibing, funny laughter, information, whatever it is. We got to get away from this MSN programming where it's like, hi, I'm Cindy. How are you? Back to our sponsor. It's pharmaceutical. It's going to kill you. Oh, man. With me and my martini glass and my Ferrari, I'm driving down Sunset Boulevard. Let me get me a man. Up. Back to our sponsor, pharmaceutical, corporation. Eat me. Oh, man. What am I going to do, Cindy, tomorrow? Oh, I have a date. We'll see what happens next time on Sponsored by Bloop. Think about all the shows we watched during our time. Think about the marketing. Think about the analysis. Why did they do that? Why do they have you coming back next week to watch the show again? Cliffhanger. But look at the method that they're using. Are you using the same method when you're doing your show? This could be any show. We got to get away from that. So let's reimagine how you can deliver your whatever you're trying to do to keep your shows up, keep your sponsors happy if you have them, or you have products that you want to sell. How do you do that without going back to this programming that we've all been indoctrinated with, that we're trying to break the cycle? We're trying to rip away from this negative polarity and trying to come into the positive, but we're dragging the negative with us. And that's what I'm trying to point out here. We're taking the old and we're dragging it in. We're not reimagining. We're not really thinking about, we just had this. It might work, but if we're trying to get to a new earth and we're trying to make a whole new paradigm, we're trying to make a new world, we're trying to clean up what was done to us, we're doing the same fucking thing, trying with good intentions, no doubt, nonetheless. We're trying to be good. But how can we reimagine that and come together and make it work? So we're out of this paradigm. We're not dragging negativity with us, the old paradigm with us. How do we reimagine the formatting? Who's your audience? Know your target audience. Just that's all. And even when I'm and when I come into abundance, again, think about what claims people are making on products. Think about logistics. Think about the wording. I want everybody to be successful. I want everybody to be in abundance. I want everybody to be healthy. But if we're excluding people because they can't afford it and we keep making that mention, well, there are all these things coming along the pike, they might not come. Tangible evidence, don't see it. You could put a name on anything and claim anything you want it to be. Doesn't mean it works. So let's be very careful and very mindful as we're in this tumultuous time. As Rob was stating with the pendulum, that's you can make a pendulum and you could see you can have somebody help you do that. Hold it over your root, your sacral, your solar, your heart, your throat, your third eye, and your crown. See if anything is out of balance. See if you're overstimulated. Use raw set in a very confusing way. I mean, Brian Scott is in agreement with me. He does it really fast. He does a fantastic job of like breaking down the law of one. And he actually goes more towards Quo, who is still a part of the Ra social memory complex, because Ra has a better way of like verbalizing that we understand. Ra and you know, it's not LLCs. You know, they channeled questions because it was out of curiosity. What's going on, Ra? Today, here's a question. Boop, I got it out of the ether. Some of Ra is very, very hard to understand and to put it into our third dimensional terms. But Ra gave us a foundation of what the law of one is. And the law of one is in a lot of different books and a lot of different things. It's just explained a little differently. I feel the 7 Hermetic principles is from another social memory complex connected to Ra. They're all connected. They're just in little community bubbles. It's like when people say, find your tribe. Well, your tribe is your social memory, your soon to be social memory complex. Your soul family and your tribe are a collective of people that you are like minded. You have expertise and in like mindedness. All those people are going to gravitate toward each other. There are people in many different facets in society that have the same tribe and soul family that will make it to each other and have their own social memory complex. They all work in conjunction with each other. There was multiple groups that started Earth. It wasn't just one. There was Ra, and then there was the people that went to South America, Ra state step. There are people in India, people in Norway. I love the Law of One. But when I'm rereading it in the time of now, mind-blowing shit. And I'm only on book 3. Only on book 3. I'm going to read you what the book in the back says because it's brilliant. These sessions provides an exploration of nature and the balance of energy centers or chakras, sexual energy transfers, healing, reincarnation, meditation, and wanderers. Psychic attacks, ritual magic, and a blueprint for our evolutionary process are discussed. We really need to reimagine what we want our worlds to be. And we can manifest it. Yes, there is manifestation, it's real. But on a collective scale, go back to my Dark City video where John Murdoch is tuning in a frequency and using psionics and telekinesis to create a beach for those people in the Matrix. We all need to focus on the same thing as a society to create this fourth density. Many of us are doing that in our astral bodies right now, but more people need to participate. And at the same time, a lot of us are getting psychically attacked by the negative entities because they're also up for graduation, but they want more of them than they want more of us. They want our light dimmed. We can't have this happen. So let's figure a solution out. Come together. Unconditional love, compassion, Amish mindset. It takes a village. It's we, not me. And like I said, we're on the elevator. Where we go, we all go. And I messed that up on purpose. Don't correct me. We're all in the same elevator. We're on different floors. And when we move up, the people are still up here waiting. But we can help those on the bottom floor rise up to the top. It's in the manner in which we do it. And that we have the alarm system on the door in the front of the building so no one can enter in that doesn't belong. But we're letting that door swing wide open for all entities to come. That includes a negative polarity. We don't want them on our elevator in our building. They need to go to their own building and do their own work in their own capacity. They're going to be negative anyway. They're of God. We have 2 buildings. We have a park. A lot of people are sitting in the park right now. They're confused. They're using one principle, we're using another. but we're using their old paradigm. We need to start reimagining what we want things to look like. So let's try to figure it out as a collective and spreading it. And with that, sending each and every one of you love and light. Remember, Amish mindset. What have you done today to help somebody out? Whether it be a like, a share, a subscribe, a repost, a cute meme, words of wisdom, sharing what you're abundant in, any of that. So please spread that as much as you possibly can. And I shall know more tomorrow about my when and what goes on in life. Very excited. And until then, I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.